Hey there everybody, what is going on? My name is Aditya and welcome back to another brand new video regarding Semantic UI. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the grid systems in Semantic UI. Well, Semantic UI has one of the best grid systems available out there. And I do personally recommend this if you are just starting out with the project. And basically, this grid system is completely powerful. You can do pretty much everything using this grid system. If you don't know what exactly the grid system is, this is a little article from Tits Plus, and well, obviously you might have already heard about this website or even went to this website. Well, they have explained everything about the grid system, including what are the advantages, what are disadvantages, why you should use them, and what exactly is the thing behind using them. So just go ahead and go through this article if you don't know what exactly the grid system is. But without any further ado, we are just gonna be going ahead and coding in our little project that we left off last time. It is exactly like that. Okay, I'm sorry. It is exactly like that. You can see it right over here. I just have this little button of loading button, I may say, and basically we just left it off right over here last time. So we are just gonna be going ahead and continuing in over here. Okay. So the very first thing that I'm going to be talking about is how you can exactly create the grid in this. Well, it's very simple. You just have to go ahead, create in a div with class UI grid, and whatever you put in here, whatever the number of columns you put in here will be considered as one column in a grid. Okay, so let's just talk about how exactly this works. Semantic UI's grid system has 16 different columns, and obviously rows you can take any number of them, but 16 column grid is there. So that means you can divide your page into 16 different parts, whereas Bootstrap allows you to do it only in 12 different parts. Well, you can simply just go ahead and do it in this way, or you can simply just create this little UI grid class over here, or you can simply just go ahead and put in here UI grid container, and even that would work perfectly fine. But just for the sake of our safety, not safety, just for our sake of our convenience, I'm gonna be taking UI grid at first over here, and then obviously we're gonna be moving on towards that little thing that I just said, that UI grid container. So let's just talk about how this exactly works. So when I say that there's a column in it, well, what I really mean is there's you know how the rows and columns exactly work. Well, in a table there are several rows and there are several columns. Columns are the ones that are vertically columns are which are horizontally organized, and rows are vertically organized. Well, in the horizontal zone there are 16 different types of boxes you can create, and you can simply just structure your page in a completely different way than other libraries like Bootstrap, because 16 column is way too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in the UI grid, and my class is column, and just for the sake of this little thing, I'm gonna be creating here a button with UI fluid button. Okay, I don't guess there's anything to be put in there, and as soon as I press F5, just look at it. How does it completely fits that thing in. And now let's just go ahead and copy it and paste it again, and you can see it automatically switched from the 16 column grid, because as soon as you put just one column over there, it understands that maybe you are doing it by mistake, and it just completely takes that whole row. But as soon as you put 2 over there, it just goes ahead and takes that in. Well, let's just go ahead and create in 16 columns. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. Now you can see all of these will be in just a straight line, and now as soon as I put another one, it goes in the downside. So it has automatic flow in Semantic UI, whereas in other CSS libraries like Bootstrap you don't get that out of the box, and you just have to go ahead and mess around with that thing. So this is how exactly this works. But let's just say this is not so organized, because if we put another column over here, we are gonna be messing around the things. We know that this little box is for something else, but in this little code it is not going to be completely semantic to us. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be using some rows. Now if you have used Bootstrap, you already know what a row is. Well, just go ahead, create a row, and then you can simply just do it in this way, and there you go. That's your row. And basically if you want to go ahead and put in another, okay, I'm sorry, let's just go ahead and try and put in another one over here. You can see it just goes ahead and sticks into that row. It doesn't just give up that row. Basically, if you saw what happened when there was no thing such called as row, it just completely went downside, thinking that it is in another row. But when you are using the row, all of the content is going to be in the same place. And basically you can simply just name this rows anything you want, but I'm just gonna be keeping it like that. Now some of the times you're not gonna be always needing some 16 columns. You just don't want to create them, so you can even create a 4-column grid. Well, let's just say I want something like this. There are just 4 of these now, and I want these 4 to take out the whole page size of page width, I think so, yeah, page width. But they just don't, they just take over those 4 columns, and remaining of the 12 columns are just completely empty. So if you want to use them in that way, what we are going to be needing to do is just go ahead and put in their 4 wide column. Now you can go ahead and see how does that look. Every single one of them takes 4 columns. Now let's just say I want that this one will not be there, and I want this middle one to be a 8 wide column grid. This will be helping you a lot in the future, because this is a very basic thing. So as soon as you put their 8 wide column, you can see this little thing completely gets attached, thinking that it is just a 1 column. And basically you have just merged 2 different columns, and basically it is not just 2 different 4 wide columns, but it is 4 plus 4, that is 8 wide column that you have just mixed. This little thing right over here is a 8 wide column, and this is 4 wide column, and this is 4 wide column. So you can simply just go ahead and create the stuff like that. And you can even just go ahead and do it even like this, or let's just say I want to go ahead and copy this thing in here without any row. You can go ahead and do that. You just saw that how it really works. Okay, so let's just say I want to close my div grid over here, and I want to create in another grid, UI grid, but this time I want a little bit of gutter. Now if you saw that little article that I just mentioned in the starting of this video from the Tits Plus, from Tits Plus, and basically if you read it completely, there's a little thing named as gutters over there. And what exactly gutters means is there should be a little bit of spacing inside every 2 elements of the grid. So what we can do to give here gutters is just instead of UI grid, we can put in there UI relaxed grid, and just see how does that work. And there was very little space over here, but now there's way too much space in between these 2 different gutters. So they have just increased the gutter. I'm sorry if I'm just sort of messing around the things, but I'm not a native English speaker. I'm really sorry for that. So I can just simply do that to specify the gutters. Now the next thing that I want to show you guys is this little thing right over here. that you can create your own grid with it is just a pain in your ass that every single time you define a column. And okay, I'm just gonna delete this little part over here. Every time you define a column, it is just going to take one space from there, and basically it is not taking different spaces. I just want that I don't know how many columns I'm gonna be fitting in it, so I want these both to be equal. So what I can do is UI equal width grid, and there you go. Now you can simply just go ahead and put in the number of columns that you want. Let's just say I want to put 4 of these, and I can simply just go ahead and have that. Well, if you know how many columns you're gonna be putting, you can simply just go ahead and put it right in here. You are defining a row, and basically you are going to be putting in here 4 column 4 column row, and I'm gonna be going ahead and cutting this little thing out and just putting it right in here. Okay, oops, I'm really sorry. Control X. Okay, there we go. And as soon as I press F5, nothing really changes because it does exactly the same thing. Instead of putting, I didn't really put here 4 wide column. Well, let's just say I delete 2 of these columns. Okay. Okay, I just deleted 1 of these columns, and you can see there are still 3 columns taking up 4 space of each, but they are not really taking up that space. Like if I was not defining this little row over here, it would have been just like this. Only 3 of these would have been there, and nothing does really change. But as soon as you put their that 4 wide column or 4 column row, it just completely gets changed. And basically that's how you can go ahead and do this thing. And you can create so many rows inside your one grid. Well, let's just say this is 4 column row. I want a few more. One of them will be, say, 8 column row, and another one of these will be, say, 2 column row. And basically I can simply just go ahead and play around these things. So because it is going to be 8 column row, I can remove 2 of these because 2 times 8 is equals to 16, so that takes up my 16 column grid. And even downside here, I just have to copy it another 4 times. I guess I'm just gonna be doing this, and you can simply just see it. Okay, looks like something I messed around. Okay, I'm really sorry, guys. This is not going to be a 8 column row. Actually this should be a 8 column row, and this should be a 2 column row. I'm really sorry because I messed up. While doing the programming I do it correctly, but while commentating and doing programming it becomes really hard. Now you can see it, guys. So each one of these column takes 2 of the space of the a column, I guess. And this one takes 8 space, and basically that's how you go ahead and create different types of columns. And it is really easy in Semantic UI, because in others you had to do like for MD, I don't even remember what I used to use in Bootstrap, because I've been using the Semantic UI for quite a while now. And basically I just use this very semantically and I'm sorry, this is very semantic version of library, so I guess this is a quite good library for using the grids. Well, personally, for very small projects I do use skeleton.css. For large scale project I use Semantic UI for my grid system. And basically I'm gonna be covering up this video right over here, guys. So just be sure to check out that little article that I just shown to you at the first starting of the video. Just go ahead and check that article out if you really want to get into the grid system. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video, where we're going to be talking about the icons, the flags that you can use in Semantic UI. So thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace out.